Civil Society California podcast.
California knows how to party. California knows how to party. In the city of LA. In the city of good old ones. In the city of Compton. We keep it rocking. We keep it rocking.
Great day to you all. You will be more than glad you've joined us today, for we have a very beneficial lifetime lesson for you to learn, absorb, and apply immediately towards improving your value and quality of life. We are enthusiastic to present to you with this episode. How to properly address yourself, all human rights reserve. The purpose and how a name is applied. We will be showing two short video clips from two movies from Braveheart and the newer version of the movie Roots, both rated R. The movie clips in this episode are for educational, informative, analysis, and for commenting. Our use of these video clips is protected under the Fair Use Act. Beware, the second video clip is of a man being brutally whipped by a slave master. Viewer discretion is highly advised. The first video clip is from the movie Braveheart and is a prime example of how to properly address yourself and be addressed as all human rights reserve. Listen carefully to the dialogue of the main character William Wallace, how he introduces and addresses himself to his fellow Irish countrymen on the battlefield. William Wallace also puts into perspective of how every individual is accountable of what they can do with having their natural inalienable rights to freedom and independence, which are included and declared in the U.S. and California Constitution. Article 1, Declaration of Rights, Section 1. All people are by nature free and independent and have inalienable rights. Among these are enjoying and defending life and liberty, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and pursuing and obtaining safety, happiness, and privacy. According to Black's Law Dictionary 4th edition. Rights are also classified in constitutional law as natural, civil, and political, to which there is sometimes added the class of personal rights. Natural rights are those which grow out of the nature of man and depend upon personality, as distinguished from such as are created by law and depend upon civilized society, or they are those which are plainly assured by natural law, or those which, by fair deduction from the present physical, moral, social, and religious characteristics of man, he must be invested with, and which he ought to have realized for him in a jural society, in order to fulfill the ends to which his nature calls him. Such are the rights of life, liberty, privacy, and good reputation. As already established, included, and declared as part of the U.S. and California constitutions are people's natural rights. Again, all people are by nature free and independent and have inalienable rights. Civil rights are such as belong to every citizen of the state or country, or, in a wider sense, to all its inhabitants, and are not connected with the organization or administration of government. They include the rights of property, marriage, protection by the laws, freedom of contract, trial by jury, etc. Or, as otherwise defined, civil rights are rights appertaining to a person in virtue of his citizenship in a state or community. Rights capable of being enforced or redressed in a civil action. Also a term applied to certain rights secured to citizens of the United States by the 13th and 14th Amendments to the Constitution, and by various acts of Congress made in pursuance thereof. We will go over focus points and a questionnaire after the video clips are shown. We will now view our first clip from Braveheart.
Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace.
William Wallace is 7 feet tall.
Yes, I've heard. Kills men by the hundred. And if he were here, He'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes and bolts of lightning from his arse. I am William Wallace. And I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. What will you do without freedom? Will you fight? Fight against that? No! We will run! And we will live. Aye. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Lesson focus points from the Braveheart video clip. How does William Wallace introduce and address himself? Countering his Irish countrymen's doubts, William Wallace confirms who he is by addressing himself how, as he did the first time. William Wallace puts into perspective with his Irish countrymen of what would they do with their natural right of freedom. They have the freedom to do which of either action? Even if a war between them and the English were to happen, what is it that still cannot be taken from the Irish countrymen? We all have the same natural right to freedom and independence that cannot be taken by death in an act of war. We also, as people of America, we deal and face forms of oppression by the powers that be that always encroach upon our rights and freedom to diminish them. You've come to, and are in America, as free men and women, in this land of the free, and home of the brave. Is that a great anthem to know, or do you live as the brave that make America the land of the free? As William Wallace told his fellow countrymen. What will you do with that freedom? Will you use your freedom to be the type to be the first ever American refugee, to be a sellout, paid to be a crisis actor, to be part of deceptive and fear-mongering propaganda, or take orders to carry out unlawful and un-American actions as forms of oppression upon your fellow Americans? Those acts, but not limited to, would also be known as being a traitor to your own fellow Americans as your countrymen. We will view the next and last video clip from the latest version of the movie Roots that goes to the second part of our episode title. The purpose and how a name is applied. According to Black's Law Dictionary 4th edition. The legal definition of name. The designation of an individual person, or of a firm or corporation. The Roots movie clip is the ideal and prime example of where names derive from and how it was applied to the designation of an individual in America during the times that this video clip portrays. Listen carefully to the dialogue by both characters, especially the difference of how the slave master prefers to address the individual as. There are focus points and lesson questions after the video clip. The video clip is rated R that contains a scene of a slave master brutally whipping his named slave into submission and is not suitable for children or anyone sensitive to such scenes. Viewer discretion is highly advised.
Anyone looks away takes a turn. Toby, I'm going to give you a chance to avoid this. Maybe Mr. Waller will let everyone enjoy this blessed day. I want you healthy, so you'll work hard. All you have to do is tell me your name.
I'm Kunta Kinte, son of a...
Your name is Toby. Now tell me your name.
I'm Kunta Kinte.
That's not your name. Toby's your name. Now what is your name?
Say it. Kunta Kinte.
Toby's your name. Now I'll ask you again. Tell me your name. Say it! Say it! Say it! Toby!
Say it. Kunta Kinte.
Toby! It's Toby! Now say it! Toby! Damn you! You black-liquor bastard. You will not move from here till you say your name. Not if night falls or a new day comes. Now you will say Toby. Say it. Say it! Say it! Say it!
Moro, I hurt my boy.
Please. I'm here.
No, Benta. I can't see our boy. I've looked for him everywhere.
Say it, boy.
He isn't coming home.
Say it! Say it! Say it! Say it! Say your name. Your owner's wife chose for you. Say your name, so you know this ain't Africa. This is Virginia, and you're the property of John Waller, like the horses and hogs, nothing more. Say your name, so you know what you are.
Kunta Kinte.
Say it. Say it. Say it! Say it! Say your name! Say it! Say Toby! Tell me your name! Say it, damn you! Say Toby! Just say your name!
You said it.
Say it again. Louder. What's your name? What's your name?
You said it. That's what I said.
By actual legal definition of name, the designation of an individual person as owned property, a slave, or of a firm or corporation. Usually as all capital letters name on legal documents and for displays. And how this video clip from the movie Roots as the prime example of the purpose and how a name is applied, that very much captures a mild version of a real scenario that many endured during those times that is portrayed in the movie, of when they were forced to be used as slave labor, abused with inhuman cruel treatment, and the derogatory treatment of being given a name to be designated owned property that is nothing more than their owner's horses and hogs. The origins of and how a name was commonly used and applied to people has and is always of degrading and derogatory intentions by those who are giving someone a name that they own, designating an individual as owned property, a slave, and not as equal to a man, but less than. Just as how nature is part of reality that exists, we recognize and identify nature for what it is, such as, it's a tree, a flower, the sun, the moon, a bird, a dog, and water. Existence of nature is not chosen or given any names, for we identify and properly address nature's existence for as it is and not as names. For example, not as, the name of that beast is a goat, the name of that circle of light is the sun, or the name of the circle of light at night is the moon. We properly identify and declare and agree with nature's existence as, it is a goat, the sun is out, or it's a full moon tonight. Just as included and declared in the U.S. and California constitutions, all people are, by nature, free and independent and have inalienable rights. Therefore, we agree with and of the same existence as nature and are born as all natural people of who we are, that had been declared by our mom or relative, is just how William Wallace and Kunta Kinte properly addressed themselves as, I am and I'm, not as own property, a slave, with my name is.
What? My name is. My name is. It's named Sadie.
Referring to both video clips, William Wallace did not introduce and address himself as a name, saying, my name is William Wallace. Kunta Kinte also did not refer to himself either as, my name is Kunta Kinte. They both addressed themselves as I am or I'm, who they were. John Waller, the slave owner, wanted Kunta Kinte to just tell me your, what did he want Kunta Kinte to tell him of? Kunta Kinte replied like how William Wallace introduced himself. How did Kunta Kinte respond to John Waller? Why was Kunta Kinte so resistant with being adopted and accepting the name the owner's wife chose for him? Why was Kunta still getting whipped when he repeatedly stated who he was? William Wallace didn't introduce and address himself as, my name is William Wallace, to his Irish countrymen. What difference does it make if you introduce and address yourself as having a name or stating who you are? What would William Wallace be implying if he introduced himself as having a name, William Wallace? Yet, countless people in America, the land of the free, always refer to themselves as a name, and having a first and last name, just like that all capital letters name on a social security account and card. Corporation language uses all capital letters names on legal documents and for displays. For example, the state of California that we see on court forms is in all capital letters corporate name. Then it is usually followed by versus someone's first and last name in all capital letters that is referring to the all capital letters name on a social security account and card. Being at traffic court to dispute a traffic infraction, the court assumes that person is the representative of the all capital letters name that is on the court form referring to the same name under a social security account and card. The court will confirm that person is representing themselves as proper. Why does the court assume you're representing something? Do you represent something or present yourself as yourself at traffic court? Didn't you go to traffic court as yourself not representing anything? So why is it assumed by the court you are representing? That topic will be of another episode soon that is tied to this series. When we see the US President behind his podium, we see in all capital letters, the United States, as to the United States of America using upper and lowercase letters as is appropriate when referring to the land mass as it is called. The all capital letters name we see on the President's podium is consistent with federal definitions of Title 28 U.S.C. Section 3002-15, United States means A. A federal corporation, B. An agency, department, commission, board, or other entity of the United States, and C. An instrumentality of the United States. All corporations have a president. When Americans vote, are they voting for a president of a country, the United States of America in upper and lowercase letters, or as we see it in all capital letters as corporation language, the United States a federal corporation? Many of our audience can relate to how countless Americans even introduce themselves as,
Hi, my name is. What? My name is. My name is. It's named Sadie. Hi, my name is. My name is. What? My name is.
You are one pathetic loser. No offense.
Then ask whoever they are meeting for the first time with, "Hi, what's your name?" With their introduction of themselves as having a name, what are they implying? This form of self-introduction and greeting is equal to stating, "Hi, I am own property and go by a name of." How about you, slave? What's your name as own property? Were you born as, who you are, of which family, from where you're originally from, as a free human? Or do you have a birth date, which refers to unloading of ship freight, and our own property slave with a name? Aren't city, state, and corporate employer forms, to any form to be filled out, formatted with requiring an individual to accept and write in a first and last name assuming you are own property? With no objection and correction to what they assume and imply, and fill out the forms that serve as official records, one agrees and consents to that which is assumed and implied. Our Travelers Society of California founder has taught us to line out those assumptions on forms and make necessary corrections even when someone refers to asking, "What's your name?" In an actual court proceeding, our founder was asked by the judge, "Is your name so and so?" He confidently replied, "Negative, I am not a name, I am," stated who he is, of the, stated of which family, name is corporate fiction or property, "I am neither. You may call me," stated who he is, and asked the judge, "You are who, sir?" instead of, "What's your name?" His reply earned the judge's respect and was not treated of anything less than an independent free man with all rights reserved. If someone's corporate employer and state records has someone consistently agreeing to having a name as their property, then they can only go on what's on official record, and it would not be of any surprise or shock if someone is given such treatment, less than all rights reserved, of being expendable, and at the mercy of their ownership. If corrections are needed, they must be made always, including any retroactive records, if one prefers to reserve all rights as a natural living free human being instead of a named property owned. It's a common general rule for those that are unaware. Whenever a status or anything outside of who you are or your character is implied or assumed, if there is no objection and correction, then the assumption or what is implied must be accurate to true. Silence consents their assumptions or that which is implied. From what you have learned from our critically valuable lesson this episode, if you prefer to reserve all rights as a free and independent human with all rights reserved, you will introduce and address yourself as William Wallace did. Including your land of origin would be appropriate if you are meeting others of an international occasion and not of the general local population. We commend you on joining us today for this episode of a critically valuable lesson that you can now apply immediately in life and improve your current value and quality of life. We will have another episode available soon as part 2 of Going by Male or Female Gender or by Sex as to Man, Woman, Boy, or Girl, to this series of episodes related to properly addressing yourself and to be addressed as to reserve all rights as free and independent human people. We appreciate your feedback. If you would like to leave us a message of how our exclusive Travelers Society of California lesson has better equipped you with valuable knowledge that can be immediately applied as part of life, please indicate a like to our episode, podcast, and channels on other social media platforms. Also share to others who would help themselves and benefit from our lesson. If you would like to support us or are interested with becoming a student or member, please message us or email us at travelersocietyofsoca@gmail.com. That's travelersocietyofsoca@gmail.com. Thank you for joining us today. Much love to you all, and safe travels to you out there.
Keep breathing, nice and even. Last 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tom and Harriet back in the news.
Hi, my name is what? My name is my name is it's named Sadie. Hi, my name is my name is what? My name is it's named Sadie. Hi, my name is what? Excuse me. My name is it's named Sadie. Can I have the attention of the class for 1 second? My name is it's named Sadie. Hi kids, do you like Primus? Wanna see me stick 9-inch nails to each one of my eyelids? Wanna copy me and do exactly like I did? Try to get messed up worse than my life is? My brain's dead weight. I'm trying to get my head straight, but I can't figure out which Spice Girl I wanna impregnate. And Dr. Dre said,
Slim Shady, you a basic. So why's your face red, man? You wasted.
Well, since age 12, I felt like a caged elf who stayed to himself in one space chasing his tail. Got ticked off and ripped Pamela Lee's lips off, kissed him and said, I ain't know silicone was supposed to be this soft. I'm about to pass out and crash and fall in the grass faster than a fat man who sat down too fast. Come here, lady. Shady, wait a minute. That's my girl, dawg. I don't give a damn. Dre sent me to take the world off. Hi, my name is what? My name is my name is it's named Sadie. Hi, my name is my name is what? My name is it's named Sadie. Hi, my name is what? My name is my name is it's named Sadie. Hi, my name is my name is what? My name is it's named Sadie. My English teacher wanted to flunk me in junior high. Damn. Thanks a lot. Next semester I'll be 35. I smacked him in his face with an eraser, chased him with a stapler, and told him to change the grade on the paper. Now, walked in a strip club, had my jacket zipped up, served the bartender, and walked out with a tip cup. Extraterrestrial, running over pedestrians in a spaceship while they're screaming at me. Let's just be friends! 99% of my life I was lied to. I just found out my mom does more than I do. I told her I'd grow up to be a famous rapper, make a record about doing to name it after. Here, Mom. You know you blew up when the women rush your stands and try to touch your hands like some screaming Usher fans. This guy at White Castle asked for my autograph, so I signed it. Dear Dave, thanks for the support. Hi, my name is my name is my name is it's named Sadie. Hi, my name is what? My name is my name is it's named Sadie. Hi, my name is my name is my name is it's named Sadie. Hi, my name is what? My name is my name is it's named Sadie. Stop the tape. This kid needs to be locked away. Get him. Dr. Dre, don't just stand there, operate. I'm not ready to leave. It's too scary to die. I'll have to be carried inside the cemetery and buried alive. Am I coming or going? I can barely decide. I just drank a fifth of Kool-Aid. Go ahead. All my life I was very deprived. I ain't had a woman in years, and my palms are too hairy to hide. Whoops. Clothes ripped like the Incredible Hulk. I spit when I talk. I anything that walks. When I was little, I used to get so hungry I would throw fits. How you gonna breastfeed me, Mom? You ain't got no. I lay awake and strap myself in the bed with a bulletproof vest on and tap myself in the head till I'm steaming mad. And by the way, when you see my dad, ask him if he bought a porno mag and see my ad. Hi, my name is what? My name is